One picture, one clip. That's all they saw and going crazy over it. There's more to that. Do y'all research. That's an old video from a year ago. I guess they rechanged the image of the people's faces here and there. But they made Biden eating a banana. He was a gorilla or something like that. So do y'all research.
We did it in my first year, so.
President Trump. The president is now insisting he did not make a mistake after that blatantly racist video was posted on his own social media account. And the president is now claiming that he did not see the part of the video that depicted former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as apes. The president's comments coming after an avalanche of backlash over the video that was posted late Thursday night. But at first, the White House press secretary defended the president's post, saying, "Please stop the fake outrage." But the criticism only grew from there, including from Republican leaders who rarely disagree with President Trump on anything. For instance, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, the Senate's only Black Republican, called Trump's post the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio called the post offensive, heartbreaking, and unacceptable. Then about 12 hours after the video was posted, it was taken down. After that, a White House official told ABC News that a White House staffer erroneously made the post, but Gio, the press secretary, has not walked back her defense of the racist image, and the president
What's up?
apologizing.
All right, Selena, thank you so much for your reporting there.
Boy. So we got to continue our coverage of the fake outrage from the mainstream liberal media over President Trump posting a video that had 1 second of the video show Michelle and Barack Obama as apes and monkeys, right? And clearly this was not on purpose, right? Clearly it was one of those things where they just kind of reposted. He just kind of reposted some video that he saw about the election. He reposted it. He probably didn't even see the whole thing. And now the mainstream media, they're using this as an opportunity to confirm what they already believe. Something that they're never going to change their minds on, which is that Trump is a racist.
It was not handled the best way. They should have immediately investigated it and realized that it was an automatic scroll into a video, which, as you did play, depicted a number of people and animals. Is it silly? Yes. But was it vindictive, and does it classify the president of the United States as a racist? No. And I think if you look at his policies, people in his cabinet, the people who visited the White House, including Nicki Minaj recently, to call him a racist or to imply that he is one based on that video is very disingenuous and lacking context.
Well, too bad. Because let me tell you something. If you don't want somebody to call you that, then you don't do things like this. He didn't show Biden and everybody else. They just showed the Obama part. So it doesn't matter what it clicks and
But it wasn't. But they didn't do it on
this
purpose,
is an unforced
Chris, which
error.
is the issue. It is an unforced error, but that's.
To me, the picture, I get it. It was just a picture, but it was a whole video. So if you watch the whole video, to me, it's funny. But everybody else freaking out over it, saying it's racist and all that. Should have been a better image, better choice? Yeah, but it is what it is. To me, it's funny. I don't think it was racist. It was The Lion King, and it was a year ago, you know?
It's very different than being vindictive about it and doing it on purpose. It is an unforced error.
Well,
it's very different than purposely clipping it to show that.
Well, first of all, it was absolutely purposely clipped to show the Obama part. It was just part of a much bigger video. That's not the beginning. Well, it's not the beginning of the video.
It was an automatic scroll.
It's not the first thing you would see.
It was an automatic, right, because it's the end of the video, which automatically scrolled into the next video. That's what happens.
Oh, no, I know. I understand how buffering and queuing works. What I'm saying is somebody made a choice.
It was vindictive.
What's up? How you doing?
You call it what you want.
And what happens?
And let me tell you something. If I do something like
Craig,
that,
you're right. That's what's going on,
first
right?
of all, I'd probably get fired. But if I
the show was fraud when it came to the election.
You know why? That's
definitely
to put out. That's why. And we both know.
I agree, Chris. I agree with you that if they purposely only clipped this portion on purpose,
right? They did it on purpose.
It would be bigoted. It would be disgusting. But they didn't purposely clip this portion on purpose. It was part of another video that got scrolled into automatically after they were portraying the other video, which is the one they were clipping for the feed. They didn't watch it all the way to the end.
right? This is why I think that this conversation is so pointless to me, but it is entertaining to watch these people boo-hoo, whine, and cry because the president is refusing to apologize despite the liberal tears, right? Which means that the liberal tears are going to continue to flow.
So, do you have any questions, John?
Mr. President? Social media post that you took down earlier today, the White House says that a staffer sent it. Who sent it, and are you going to fire him?
No, I looked at it, I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud, and I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they'd look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't. And they posted, and we took it down, and we did it. You know, but that was a voter fraud that nobody talks about. They don't like to talk about that.
Right, definitely a voter fraud going on. I'll pull that up too if you want me to. But other than that, it was definitely a voter fraud. Yep.
Post. We took it down as soon as we found out about it.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things. I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine. They had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered. If you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff of the Lion King. And certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it. And probably they would have had the sense to take it down. But that was a takeoff of the Lion King. And a lot of people were covered in different positions.
Yes, MAGA.
But I spoke to Tim Scott. He was great. Tim is a great guy. He understood
MAGA.
100%.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Again, the president is refusing to apologize. He should not apologize. There's nothing to apologize for. Who cares, right? Tell these people to kick rocks, right? Kiss my ass, right? That's what you really should be saying. I'm keeping it 100 with you. I would lose respect for the president if he actually apologized to these people, because these people
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
"Quote unquote" racism from
Appreciate
the president.
it.
If they did, then hey, they would have been very upset with all of the comments that were made by previous president Joe Biden, who has a very racist past, right? According to liberals, what liberals would describe as a racist past, that all of a sudden now they're trying to pretend as if
Thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate it. Thank you. Name is Deontay. Let's continue.
he was amazing. He was a great guy. Nothing racist about the guy. And if you bring up his racism, apparently that's irrelevant.
Thank you. First time viewer. Appreciate
Joe
that.
Biden was somewhat of a bridge. He was supposed to be a bridge or a palate cleanser or somebody who morally and ethically was antithetical to who Donald Trump was. Uncle Joe was the nice guy, older white guy, comes in and you want to eat ice cream with him, right? Well, I think what that episode in our country's history showed us is that we really need some fumigation, right? We need a exorcism, for lack of a better term. We need a more aggressive approach to go in and surgically remove the cancer that is the Donald Trump and MAGA movement.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
You got the first.
Come on, man. Really?
Mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean, nice looking guy.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationists.
Joe Biden mentor was a KKK member, Robert Byrd. I think he died like around 100 years old. And he was around that part where everybody keep on saying the Democrat Party, Republican Party switch. They never did switch. Didn't switch.
Senators Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy. He always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done.
The senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them.
Using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain, and we need a presidential nominee and leader of our party to be sensitive to that.
My Democratic colleagues all like
the Jim Crow Party is the Democratic Party.
Good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the
black. Y'all keep voting
Other
Democrat. Makes no
still
sense.
Call me boy. I don't.
How y'all keep voting from the Democrat Party, and Democrat Party is a party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, all this negative stuff. Period. Man.
I think they've changed their mind.
It's also known that Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend, he was a mentor, and he was a guy.
1987, he bragged about getting an award from George Wallace.
Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, "I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people."
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Biden was remarking to an audience in South Virginia that included hundreds of black voters.
And Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
The reason I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
One thing Biden is being slammed for is the crime bill he helped write 25 years ago that many critics say resulted in mass incarceration, especially of young
Marjorie Swinger, right. She started an abortion clinic. She's a Democrat as well.
Tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience.
What up, Salty? There's always going to be some trolls in the chat. I don't mind.
There's about 100,000 of them
Let them
who want
be.
to be rhetorically extreme about it who are the predators. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
First son
What's up,
Hunter Biden
Patrick?
repeatedly called his white attorney the N-word.
He's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know.
Hunter Biden reportedly wrote to his attorney, quote, "How much money
How you doing,
do I
Queen?
owe you
Indigenous
because
Queen? How you doing?
N-word, you better not be charging me Hennessy rates." In another message, Biden began a text to his attorney with OMG N-word, and Biden responded at one point
gotta go
with
take Obama.
"To that
Good one.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists.
Working with segregationists on an anti-busing agenda
Peace.
is very, very scary.
1977, Biden worried that his children would grow up in a, quote, racial, his words, jungle if integration is not done in a, quote, orderly
Texas,
way, whatever that
how you
means.
doing?
I guess one thing that is interesting to me is we never heard Biden criticized, and he eulogized a KKK recruiter, Senator Byrd. He said some kind of insane racist things like poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. He didn't want his children growing up in a racial jungle. So
You're talking
he was
about that's
president.
what Byrd said.
No, that was what Biden said.
Good. That's
So
what's
he was
up.
president for 4 years.
Okay, this is
we
the
never
problem
heard
with American
outrage
politics.
about that.
Actually, you did it. So we worked on the Biden campaign. Black people were very critical of what Joe Biden did around the '94 crime bill, and
It's far more recently.
But here's the thing.
He said in that
Here's the
election,
thing.
if you don't
Guess
vote
what?
for
No,
me,
they're
you
not.
ain't black.
Guess what? And you know what?
Stop saying,
Joe
no, they're
Biden is
not.
not the president anymore, right? And part of what is the outcome is when people say things, there are consequences. We are not talking about Joe Biden. We are talking about on February 6th, 2026, in the year of our Lord and Savior,
Thank you, Craig.
Donald Trump retweeted the former first black president of the United States, first black first lady of the United States. And did you watch the opening I did? He retweeted them or retruthed them or whatever he does as apes. Full stop. I don't care what Joe Biden said. Demand more from your president.
Absolutely.
So one picture hurt your feelings. This man has said all type of racist shit, and in one picture you that hurt you more than what he said. I thought words mattered. These Democrat Something else. How you guys doing? I'm a Trump supporter. I like Trump's policies. I'm not here to push nobody be a Trump supporter. If you want to vote for common sense. That's all I say. Other than I'm not here to push you or anything what I like. I'm just sharing information. I appreciate you guys. I am a black conservative.
Arthur's point,
he withdrew it, right? Number one, and number two, after they lied about it. Okay, but just
Oh man, yeah, Larry Elder all day. As a matter of fact, I got you. I got you.
Create this video.
I'm glad you said that. Watch this.
No, it absolutely does matter. If he sat there and he said, "Let me make these people look like this," that's a big difference.
That matters.
Okay, I'm going to respectfully disagree that it would matter if he thought about it. Let me ask you.
Back and worth noting also, the president had an opportunity today to say something about it. He didn't. Okay. So next, should Trump supporters own his bad behavior? One vote doesn't reflect on if you are a Trump supporter and it doesn't matter to you that he is trafficking in racist tropes. Does that reflect back on you?
If you were a Menendez supporter,
earlier this week, in a really ugly incident we saw in Minnesota, protesters called an ICE officer the N-word.
Those protesters are not the president of the United States.
Do leftists have to own that?
That was unacceptable too.
I don't think that leftists have to own that. I don't think that Republicans have to own.
He is the president. That's a important fact here. He is the president.
Wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. The mental gymnastics are just fascinating, right? It's very entertaining to watch, okay? I want you guys to understand. When it comes to Biden and his racism, right? The dude was literally a segregationist, okay? A segregationist. This is the same guy that liberals blame for locking up all those black people, which apparently was the worst thing in the world to actually, hold black people accountable for crimes, right? Terrible, absolutely terrible racism from Joe Biden. The same guy that claimed that you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Thank you. And we gave a super chat out to 2462. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Name is Deontay. Let's continue. Thank you.
Apologized, a Klansman, right? When people bring up the fact that the media didn't care that much about that, they didn't talk about Biden's racism during his 4 years in office. Apparently, that's irrelevant, right? Apparently, that doesn't matter. When Democrat voters say, "Hey, we're going to vote for a segregationist," a guy that again was not for busing, right? Kamala Harris called him out on stage at the Democrat Party debate for being a racist and also a sexual abuser, right? Sexual assaulter as well too, right? Gotta vote me too. Democrats say, you know what? We're gonna hold our nose and vote for him anyways, right? But they want to lecture us on a meme, right? That was accidentally posted by the president, right? Amazing, absolutely amazing. And then when you bring up the fact that, hey, you have liberal lunatics who are running around calling ICE agents, black ICE agents, the N-word. Well, apparently that doesn't matter either, right? That's not newsworthy to CNN, okay? Oh, well, they're not the president, right? It's like, well, again, the president accidentally posted a meme. Okay, let's talk about some actual, racism or what the left would consider to be racism from liberals, right? No, we don't want to talk about that. But we all know that if Trump supports...
He's preaching right now.
The Democrats founded the Klan. I didn't know when I was in high school that Democrats voted against the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment that gave slaves citizenship, the 15th Amendment that at least on paper gave slaves the right to vote. Democrats voted against all of that stuff. I didn't know when I was in high school that more Republicans as a percentage of the party voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats. I didn't know that. I also bought into that notion that okay, Democrats used to be racist, but then Republicans switched places with them in the 60s.
Never happened.
I bought into that until I found out that of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the House, of all the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights Act in the Senate, only 2 switched to the Republican Party, one of whom was Strom Thurmond. George Wallace, who stood in front of the school door as a Democratic governor saying segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. He died a Democrat. Robert Byrd, who was a Kliegel, that means a recruiter for the Klan, He died a Democrat at 100 years old in the Senate. Most of these guys never switch parties. It is a lie. The reason the South became more and more Republican is because the Democratic Party became more and more left-wing, became anti-Vietnam, anti-war, pro-abortion, and the South became increasingly uncomfortable with their allegiance to the Democratic Party, especially since Jim Crow had fallen. If Jim Crow has fallen, why are we in bed with these Democrats? What's the point? And so the South became more and more Republican for a reason that had nothing to do with racism. But that was the line that was fed by so many people, and so many blacks to this day believe that.
Oh, he's preaching right now.
Democrats
invaded a abortion center or whatever, and started calling the doctors, the black nurses, N-words, right? We know that would be front page news on CNN, and they'd be saying, "Hey, is this a reflection of all Trump supporters, right? Is this a reflection of the base, right? The racist MAGA base?" This is what they would be saying, right? But let a white liberal multiple times on camera call a black ICE officer an N-word. Well, see, they're not the president, so hey, I guess it don't matter, right? It's not worth talking about. The hypocrisy is stunning. I personally just don't give a damn, right? I don't think that the president is racist, okay? But these people think that the president is racist no matter what. They're just using this to confirm their belief. So there's no point in even arguing with these people about it, because it's really about politics, not racism, because they don't give a damn about racism from the left. They don't care about these white liberals running around calling these black officers the N-word. They don't care about that. They don't care about voting for a segregationist, okay, for somebody who locked up all these black people, which again they claim was the worst thing ever to happen to black folks. They don't care about that, right? All they care about is politics, right? And they're already convinced in their minds that Trump is a racist, and there's nothing that anybody can say to convince them otherwise, so there's no point, right? But see, here's the reality of the Democrat Party, right? Democrats run around and act like they're not racist, but at the end of the day, when it comes to how they operate, they certainly have feelings about black folks that if you actually listen to them, I think that it's very clear that they do operate on what they would consider to be racist stereotypes, especially when you talk about getting votes. Like, for example, James Carville here in his interview said something that, again, if a Trump supporter said, if a Republican or a conservative said, would go viral, right? It would be a very viral clip that the news media will be talking about and say, hey, is this racism? Is this really what Republicans think about black folks? Listen to this guy talk about what Democrats need to do in 2028 in order to win the black vote with white guys. Listen to this.
Who is the Democrat that you see who can carry the flag into 2028? Kamala Harris?
No.
AOC?
No.
Rahm Emanuel?
To win the Democratic nomination, you have to ask yourself two really important questions. One, can you raise a lot of early money? Second question you have to ask yourself, who can walk into a black fish fry in South Carolina, a black church? Now, they can be nice,
What's up, Joe?
white people, but who is going to get them to hum and sway? If I had to say one guy, if I were like betting the Kentucky Derby and I saw this 12-1 horse and I said, yeah, I want to get a price, I'd take J.B. Pritzker.
Really? Why?
Well,
not Kamala Harris? She's black.
She has no chance.
Why not?
Because no Democrat wants anything to do with anybody that had anything to do with 2024.
So Kamala Harris can't get the black community to sway and hum?
No. They're not. No. And the other thing is, and this is the best news for Democrats that the party can possibly have.
Yeah.
Just win. They don't. If we nominate two white males, no one's going to give a shit.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Again, if a Republican strategist, a famous Republican strategist had said something like that, again, it will be viral. They'd be talking about it on the news. What this dude, James Carville, is saying out loud is that, hey, in order to appeal to these Negroes, we got to get them to sway and hum. We got to show it to a fish fry with some KFC, right? with some fried chicken, and we got to get them to sway and hum. What is he really saying? What he's saying is that we got to appeal to their emotions, right? We don't need to talk policy. We don't need to sit down and have an intellectual conversation with them. We have to appeal to their emotions, right? We have to pander to them in ways that we feel Black Americans are going to support us, right? Again, He would never say that about any other community. He never said about any other community, right? But he's saying that about black people because he's letting you know in his mind what Democrats believe they need to do in order to win over black folks, right? They need to put on a show.
Oh yeah, he be killing it, man. This is Greg Foreman. He be killing it.
Academic conversations, intellectualism,
What up, Mario?
right policy. No, they respond to feelings, right? Fish fries, fried chicken, collards, right? Rap.
Thanks for joining the chat, Mario. Thanks, bro. Thank you for joining the chat, man. Appreciate it.
Did when she basically started her campaign, had Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass. I think that was the first rally in Atlanta. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. That is what they believe about black people. But I'm supposed to be mad about President Trump accidentally posting some meme with Barack Obama and Michelle Obama is apes and monkeys, right? No, right? I'm just not going to be, right? I'm not going to be because these people don't care. The same people who are outraged right now don't care when it's a Democrat, when it's one of their own engaging in what they consider to be racist hate. They don't care. They don't care, okay? They appeal to black folks in the most stereotypically racist ways possible, as you just saw there. And again, look who they voted for. Look who they voted for Joe Biden, an actual senator.
And the funny thing about it is, by me switching from being a Democrat to Republican, I got hated on, dissed it, everything. So I said I'm a Republican. The Republican embraced me, brought me in, no problem. That's crazy. I get can't called all types of names, coon, all type of stuff. I'm doing something right then. Appreciate it.
Segregationist, right? But I'm supposed to be mad about a meme. Come on, get out of here. Again, the president should not apologize. I'm glad he did not apologize. I would lose respect for him if he apologized. There's nothing to apologize for. He didn't do anything wrong. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the mainstream liberal media, this is fake outrage. So let them fake outrage. Move on, right? Who cares? They're going to think that he's a racist no matter what. At some point, Republicans
Shots at most wanted.
You know what? Cool. Y'all thinking we racist? It is what it is. Like, okay, who cares, right? You're going to think we're racist no matter what. So there's no need for us to sit here and then try to, do the little tap dance for you, right? To try to explain why we're not racist. No, you think we're racist.
Williams.
So, it is
okay,
what it is.
I will.
Like, we don't need to change anybody's mind, right? Their minds can't be changed. They think what they think. They believe what they believe. It is what it is. So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll support, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Is going to miss school. They're ditching school to go down to the Capitol building to protest against ICE. I'm like, okay.
So I have this clip here of this gentleman, and one of y'all sent it to me and told me to check it out. So if you're watching this video, then it must have turned out well, okay? Because if it didn't turn out well, then you're probably not seeing it. So I'm gonna be reacting to this in real time with y'all. So let's hop into it. Let's check it out.
Man, so me and my daughter just got into a serious debate. Man, I couldn't believe it, but again, I could not believe this. She was saying how a lot of kids at her school today is going to miss school, ditching school to go down to the Capitol building to protest against ICE. I'm like, okay, why? She's like, because ICE is out here killing people and doing this, doing that. I'm like, I don't know how many people did the ICE kill? I don't know. Oh, she's like, yeah, I wanted to go, but I'm like, what? Anywho, long story short, she's like, yeah, I think ICE should just leave. ICE should just leave people alone. What? No, ICE is here to get rid of all the illegals. No, they want to take away all the Mexicans. Like, what? Who told you that? That's what everybody's saying. That doesn't make it real, sweetie, because everybody's saying it. Yes, it does. No, show me where Trump is, where ICE is saying they're looking for all the Mexicans. Show me that. Well, they're just running in people's houses and taking their kids. Okay. Show me where that's happening. I can't. Well, why do you believe it?
Yeah, I checked it out. Okay, I'm gonna check him out. Salty.
I'm laughing because I've had a very, very similar conversation. And I think I told you guys about that conversation where I was just arguing with somebody and I was just asking them for proof and they got quiet because they couldn't prove any of it. But I could tell that they genuinely believed it. And that's the scary part. These folks have become so brainwashed that, and I swear, somebody said it. There's a video clip, and I know one of you is going to type it in the comments right now. There's a video clip of a gentleman talking about that very thing happening, and I can't think of who. What was it? Orwell? Anyway, I was trying to think there, but he talks about how there's going to come a point in time where you're going to be able to show somebody evidence of something right in their face, and they still won't believe you because they're that brainwashed. And we're at the point now where people will claim something without zero evidence when you ask them to prove it.
Amazing, ain't it?
I don't know. Can't find it. I don't know. That's just people saying. So if everybody says, hey, if you jump off this bridge, you'll live forever, you going to jump off the bridge? Bro, it's crazy. The mindset of these liberals out here, man, it's scary. It's scary.
Because everybody's saying it. Well, look here, sweetie. I tried to show her some shit. I showed her some shit where they were looking for criminals. You know, everything that she was saying, I showed her some shit to debunk it. But she was not listening. She was not listening. She was not listening. She didn't give a fuck about the proof.
Been there.
She said, I don't care. This is how I feel.
Facts over feelings.
Said, well, your feelings doesn't matter, sweetheart. And I'm saying this respectfully, but your feelings have to do with anything. Nobody gives up about your feelings. Just because you're feeling some type of way doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it true.
Facts.
Well, and this what really, because I'm gonna tell y'all this. She said, well, some of these illegal Mexicans have been in the country for over 20 years, and they should stay. First off, why are you just talking about Mexicans? This has nothing to do with Mexicans.
Exactly. Yo. I literally just made a video yesterday.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Asian.
Crazy.
It's not just Mexicans, and that's how you can tell these liberals are racist, because they think it's just all Mexicans that are the ones who are illegals in this country. There's a plethora of legal American citizen Mexicans. There's millions of them. Not every Mexican is an illegal, but you talk to these liberals. Oh, Mexicans are illegal. They're going to deport the Mexicans. Wait. Why is it just Mexicans? What about the Russians? What about the Asians? What about the Africans? Right? What about the Australians? You know, what about all of these other groups of individuals? What about the Canadians? Goodness gracious, right? Right? Come on, man. These liberals show their real racism when they say stuff like that.
Illegal immigrants. Illegal. Immigrants are fine to be here. There's nothing wrong with other countries coming over here and embracing our country. There's nothing wrong with that. And he's talking about starting with the illegal criminals. She said, no, they're just going in. They're going door to door looking for people and asking you for your paperwork.
Show me.
That's not what's happening, sweetheart. Yes, it is. Well, can you show me that? I don't need proof.
Prove it. Right. There you go.
You don't need proof. In order for you to believe something, you have to show me where you got it from. No, that's just what everybody's saying. Well, show me where they're doing that. I don't need to. Like Genesis, in order for you.
It's the blind leading the blind. Literally.
Don't be scared, Mario.
It's the blind leading the blind. That is the.
Do not be scared. You all good, man.
To describe this situation, a bunch of individuals who don't know what the hell they're talking about, leading a young lady who was blind. The blind leading the blind.
It's crazy.
And unfortunately, the way the system is designed, you know, a lot of folks have to send their kids to these indoctrination camps, aka school, where they're bombarded with propaganda all day long.
For real,
and
bro.
kids are
Damn.
blank sheets of paper. Whatever you write on it sticks.
Damn, Mario.
And so if that's all they're hearing all day long, what do you think they're going to believe? Eventually it's going to stick in there. Of course, you'll have your
Blind leading the
outliers
stupid. That's what's going on.
who rise above the nonsense and the lies. Of course, you'll have your outliers, but those are outliers.
Yep.
For the most part, those kids are just going to line up in lockstep with everybody else. That's the sad part about it. And I don't know of any way to fix it other than like making some kind of law, right? Like maybe
Right.
make some kind of law with some kind of extreme punishment.
Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
listen,
Subscribe.
you don't talk about
Thank you.
politics
Thank
in
you.
school whatsoever, at all. Mm-mm. No social justice warriors are being created in these school buildings. We ain't talking about social justice in school either. And the penalty is 10 years in prison. If you are caught talking about politics or social justice, whatever, 10 years in prison. If it ain't reading, writing, science, or math, they ain't there to talk about it.
Sure.
Now, if you want to talk about it after school hours, all right, once that bell ring, once classes are dismissed for the day, all right, cool, you can talk about whatever. But during school hours, that is not to be a topic of discussion. What do y'all think? Should we make that a law and 10 years in prison if you violate it? 10 years. Mandatory minimum. Because I feel like the punishment has to be steep. Otherwise, people are just going to continue to do it. You know? They're just going to, F that. Don't keep doing it. If you can just give them a little fine, a little slap on the wrist, I'm going to keep doing it. Nope, 10 years in prison. Bye. And you lose your teacher.
Thanks, Salty, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for staying with me, man. Thank you.
What do y'all think? Let me know.
In order for you to believe something, you have to see it, read it, watch it, feel it, be there in order for you to know that it's real and it's true. Or you just believe in what everybody say. That's what everybody's saying. So again, back to because this is the scenario I got. I said, okay, Genesis, I got my driver's license when I was 22 years old, but I've been driving cars since I was 16. That's 6 years of driving without a license. But in order for me to drive license legally without getting in trouble,
Thank you, Salty, man. I'm here for the long haul.
get the paperwork, pass the test, get permitted to do that. If I don't, and I get pulled over without having a license, they impound my car, I get a ticket, there's something. And I can't just say, hey, I've been driving for 6 years without a license. I don't think I should have to have one. That doesn't make any sense. In order for me to get my gun and carry a gun legally, I have to go down there and get a permit. I have to go down there and pass a test so I can legally carry my gun. So what if I've been carrying it illegally for the last 13 years? That doesn't matter. They're not going to say, well, since you've been carrying it for 13 years, here you go, sir. You can continue carrying it. Fuck no. I'm still going to jail. So no matter how long I'm been living here illegally, that doesn't matter. If he gets caught.
And honestly, I feel like the longer you've been here, the worse. Well, he's been here all his life. He's been here 30 years. He shouldn't be getting deported. Even more reason to deport his ass. You've been here.
We can have criminals in jail. Fight for them. They right here. Fight for them. That's crazy. Always fight for something that makes no sense. We here in America take care of home first.
Here 30 years and you haven't taken the steps to become a legal citizen, really? It don't take 30 years. I understand it can take some time, but 30? Nah, bro. See ya. You been here 30 years and you ain't learned English? Nah, bro. See ya. I don't care if you're in the middle of the process or not. You ain't even taking the time to learn the language of the land.
Get him out, coach.
Damn Karens, you know it.
There's punishment, and there's that he's going to have to abide by once he gets caught. That's not how this works. But again, it got heated because I'm telling her, and she got heated with me. I just got confused. Like, God damn, you don't even want to know the truth. You don't even care.
No.
This is just how you feeling, and somebody else is telling you this. I watch this every day. I've been watching this since they started running the election. I've been following politics since Obama, really. I've been following politics. This little girl don't know nothing about politics, and she's telling me what I know is wrong and what she feels is right. Like, what? That's not how that works, Genesis. How you telling me I'm wrong and I watched it, but you're right and you don't watch none of it?
Facts over feelings.
And I'm presenting you with the proof and the evidence.
Not the other way around.
Flying fuck about none of it. None of it. She didn't give a flying fuck. And that's what I'm like, well, that's the problem. And let's think about this. Not only did she not give a fuck about the truth, but she disregarded the truth and kept her feelings. That's the problem. We don't give a fuck about the truth. The truth can be looking us right in the face. We can see the truth, and we still don't want to abide by it because it's not how we feel. And people do that. Motherfuckers do that. They are a respecter of person. Shit, I thought that was the police. They are.
You know, I think we've reached the point where now, at this point, and this is the scary part, and y'all can let me know if you agree. We've reached the point where liberals will literally hear the Democrat Party say, all grass is now purple.
And go right
They'll
with it.
believe it. They will walk outside in their front yards or their backyards or wherever, go to a local park. They will look at the grass, see that it's green, but believe that it's purple because the Democrat Party told them that it's purple. We have literally reached that point. And that is scary. That right there is scary.
Scary.
I don't ever want individuals like that to be in any type of position of power in this country. Because that's scary. I ain't saying all liberals and Democrats would believe that. But I genuinely believe that there is a significant amount of far leftists that would actually believe that the grass is purple, even though they're looking at it and can clearly see that it is green. Simply because that's what the Democrat Party told them. Oh, and don't let Trump say that it's not purple, because then they'll really believe it. Trump will come out and say, oh, man, those Democrat politicians, they're liars. This grass isn't purple, it's green. Then they'll really believe it. That is purple. Liberals will. And unfortunately, I feel like I know at least one of them. Yeah. I personally know at least one of them. And that's scary, man. That's scary. So I say all that to say this. When it's time to vote, please vote.
Gotta vote.
Not just in the major elections every 4 years for president, but in the midterms and off-year elections too. Show up and vote. Please. For the sake of humanity, show up and vote. Because I don't want to live under their control. Please. Please, if you could do me that one favor, I would greatly appreciate it. All right. Shout out to She Yet Connected. I'm gonna throw the TikTok back up on the screen so y'all can see it. It's right there next to my face. If you need to pause it, it's right there on the screen. Right there.
If they had done that, there would be no outrage. That's the whole thing. They saw that one picture and go nuts. Now look at this. Look at Joe Biden. What's the outrage for Joe Biden? Let's play it again. What is the outrage for Joe Biden? Like he always do.
So to all the young people out there, as well as those of you who consider yourselves young at heart, I want you to stay angry. I want you to stay frustrated.
All right, y'all. Now, in case you missed it yesterday, the liberals are freaking out again. They're calling Trump a racist. I mean, what else is new? They call him a Nazi. They call us Christian white nationalists. They call us all sorts of names under the sun.
The White House deleted a video posted on President Trump's Truth Social that included a clip depicting former President Barack Obama and his wife.
Thank you. Subscribe. Thank you.
Michelle as apes. The roughly 1-minute video, which appeared on Trump's Truth Social account late February 5th, was mostly focused on claims of vote rigging in the 2020 election, when suddenly the AI-generated images of the Obamas as apes scrolls into frame, while the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight plays in the background.
You see this image right here, and it's made headlines all day. It's in that video that President Trump posted last night on his Truth Social account, a 62-second election conspiracy video with an AI-generated image of the Obamas as apes appearing at the end of the clip.
This is racism. This is raw, rank racism when the President of the United States of America, who knows or should know the history of this country, and how persons have used this image of persons of African ancestry to be associated
What about Joe Biden
who are
picture?
members of the monkey family.
It is not racist because it is offensive. It is offensive because it is inherently racist. The trope about depicting Black people as animals goes all the way back to white Europeans looking for a justification for colonization and the enslavement of African people.
Wow.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't Black, hush up, boy.
I saw some people writing, do you think that he really posted this? Do you think, yeah, of course I think he really posted that. Your default position should not be maybe he didn't. Your default position should be to understand why he definitely did. There's a lot of people that say Donald Trump ushered in this new age of white supremacy, that Donald Trump ushered in hate and all this stuff, and that's not true. Hate ushered in Donald Trump. White supremacy ushered in Donald Trump.
No, not really.
But wait, there's more. The idea that anyone would post a video like that, let alone the President of the United States, someone who's supposed to find ways to bring us together, someone who's supposed to appeal to our better angels.
That's crazy. So Kathy Griffin had a picture with his head cut off, with her hand just like this with his head cut off. No outrage over that. Y'all cool with that, though. Man, Trump head was cut off, literally, blood dripping and all that stuff. That's crazy.
This guy seems to always find a lower and lower common denominator. Here in Pennsylvania, we respect all people, no matter what they look like, where they come from, who they love, who they pray to, who they choose not to pray to. We don't scapegoat others, and we certainly don't peddle in racist videos and other racist statements like this president has made. He needs to do better.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I thought the meme was hilarious. Matter of fact, it's made by my man Zerius over on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. I used that meme in a video months ago. It's hilarious. But these are the same people over on the left, these loony Democrats and demon worshipers over there. They want to be offended by all these little minuscule things that really aren't that serious. But at the same time, they won't take offense to murdering children. They call it abortion and women's health care. They allow mutilation of kids and they celebrate it.
But the minute a meme is posted depicting Obama and Big Mike, aka Michelle, as apes, and that's not even the full context.
You can see the original video here, right? In full context. It's not just, the Obamas or whatever, but is also Democrats, right? Democrats. Okay, the title of this video is President Trump, King of the Jungle. So it's a bunch of Democrats as, animals, right? Kamala's a turtle. I think Biden's an orangutan. So, hey, is that racist? Is Biden
Trump the
been
first black president?
or is it just black folks, right, that are depicted as apes? Is that the only thing that
he went to jail, got shot at twice.
Right? Whoopi. Right?
Tried to bankrupt him.
So it's like, it's a meme.
It was not handled the best way. They should have immediately investigated it and realized that it was an automatic scroll into a video, which, as you did play, depicted a number of people and animals. Is it silly? Yes. But was it vindictive? And does it classify the president of the United States as a racist? No. And I think if you look at his policies, people in his cabinet, the people who visited the White House, including Nicki Minaj recently, to call him a racist or to imply that he is one based on that video is very disingenuous and lacking context.
Social media post that you took down earlier today, the White House says that a staffer sent it. Who sent it, and are you going to fire him?
No, I looked at it. I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud. And I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they'd look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't. They posted, and we took it down, and we did it. Yeah, but that was a voter fraud that nobody talks about. They don't like to talk about that post. We took it down as soon as we found it.
Shit.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things.
Thank you.
I looked at the
Let's grow together, everybody. Let's grow together.
One post, and I guess
we got
it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people
common sense. Common sense. That's what this channel is about. Common sense.
It was a takeoff of The Lion King. And certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it. And probably they would have had the sense to take it down.
But Trump staffer, I don't care who posted it. I think the video is funny. Since when can we not make fun of politicians and people? And come on, y'all. This isn't Jim Crow. This isn't racism. This isn't anything like that. It's a meme. It's the internet. It's funny. Y'all on the left will be quick to point the finger at Trump and call us every name under the sun.
He didn't apologize.
It's a hostile and nonsense. But the minute
he pulled it, but he didn't apologize.
Video is generated, and it's not even actual video. I'm going to play you some clips to wrap it all together beautifully with a little bow on top. Not just coming from me, not just a 25% West African individual like myself, which doesn't matter at the end of the day. Again,
that's why I voted for Trump. He's unapologetic. You know what I'm saying? On the real.
And all one race, the human race. But since people want to play this identity politics game and get offended when it fits their narrative, and they can twist it and propagandize and gaslight and do all of that. We'll go along with it for a second, but I'm gonna show you the truth.
No problem, Ashley. No problem.
But these people, man.
I played the video before you came in. The video was already played.
It's hilarious. Melanin content doesn't define me as a man. It doesn't define you as a woman or anything. Are you a righteous, Jesus-loving individual who's repented and humbled yourself under the mighty name of the Lord Yeshua? Or are you just out here glorifying lawlessness like the left likes to do? This is ridiculous, y'all. It's nuttier than squirrel turds. The meme, my man Zerius has a ton of them. They're all gooder than chicken to me, better than butter. Do they toe the boundary line? Sure, but I'm the type of person that when you're speaking truth, there is no boundaries, because the truth will set you free. The light shines in the darkness. When it's there, it's there. You those of us with discernment, we see what's real and what's not. And
because he wasn't with the Epstein.
About this, but I want to address it. I want to get it all out there. You could take it how you want to. If you're the type of person who wants to be offended by
his credibility.
Then everything
I saw
really
him.
doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you don't see things for what they are and see through the nonsense, all I can do is pray for you. If you want to be offended by this back end of a video,
Hey, user,
that's
it's
your
called live
prerogative. I'm gonna
stream, bro.
promoting
I
truth.
do
I'm
other
gonna keep
videos as
celebrating
well. This
righteousness
is a
and
live stream
victories when
on
they
a
happen. And boy,
YouTube
has there been a
short.
lot
What
of
you
them
talking
in this
about?
MAGA agenda. This is beautiful. If you're an American, if you're somebody that loves to walk in accordance with law, and you look to God and you respect and appreciate and know who God puts
That's
in
the whole
power,
point.
and
I'm
it's all
showing it
designed
information.
to work according to His will, give some props, give some salutes. Don't just nitpick and nag and whine and complain because Trump.
Right, Salt. There's a big difference. False allegations compared to a funny joke, and that was never funny at all.
It's something racist. It's not racist. I love y'all. I'm praying for you regardless of what side you're on. I pray that you step up off that wide path of destruction and make your way onto the narrow way through the narrow gate that leads to life, which can only be found in Jesus. And if you're reading your Bible, you know what that Bible, the basic instructions before leaving Earth says? There's no way that you can stand on the Democrat side and vote that way. There is no.
I'm glad that you know that, user, but that's not how that works.
This doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Your brainstem cannot be connected in common sense with the neurons firing on all cylinders. I pray for you, but let's get it popping.
I want to come to you and talk to you about inequality in schools and race.
Hey, user, I'm 43. I'm not that old or young. I'm 43.
We bring social workers into homes and parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. Some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
I'm like the token black or the token woman. I was the token young person.
They're going to put you all back in chains. I have great relationships with them because there's an awful lot of driving cabs.
They will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
And tried to reassign blame and said that I should apologize to him.
Corey should apologize. He knows better. Come on, man. You know better.
Come on, man, me. He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement. I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff. But I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I happen to think that the one way to ensure that you set the civil rights movement in America further back is to continue to push busing. And I support the effort to curtail the ability of courts to bus.
They're going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest.
You gates, y'all. They will use COVID again.
The whole movement of black.
And that's the crazy thing about the Democratic Party. Democrats want to keep everybody in the house, stay on the government, rely on the government, rely on the government. The Republicans want us to go out and go back to work. Democrats want us to stay at home, rely on them all goddamn day. And that shit was stupid. That was petty. Everybody got to stay at home. You couldn't see your grandma, you couldn't see your friends. You got to stay in the house. The red states didn't do that. The blue states did all that, stay in the house, the lockdowns. Makes no sense. Chicago, that was even bogus with Lori Lightfoot. That's another story.
Pride.
They can't even sell racism without black and brown people helping them, and that's part of the problem.
It's funny.
You should say that.
Like the statement he made was interesting, because that's something I hear from other black people. It's very interesting to see that an old white man also looks at black people in that way. Like I question what makes somebody
right, Ashley, Salty. Y'all right. Y'all on point.
And a white man is certainly not qualified to have that discussion, but people do connect blackness to support and protection of black culture. So I guess when we see a black person voting for Trump,
right.
Trump is a threat to
subscribe.
this country. It does make you question how much that person cares about his people. So I understand the statement is just a shot coming from a whole white man like Joe Biden. It was a real Bulworth movie. You've ever seen that movie?
They can't sell their racism without the active participation of black and brown people.
And two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. That man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's.
So we're asking 800-585-1051. We're talking the term boy.
He's just old, y'all.
Yeah, I don't
And
like
he
the term boy.
corrected it. Well, I don't like the term either, and I feel like it hits different from white people. But he corrected himself right there on the spot.
He did.
Wow.
Corrected himself right there on the spot.
He did.
They can't even sell racism without black and brown people helping them, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, he did, correct himself, but I just think it came out natural. Like that's his natural conversation, natural talk, and he caught himself saying it and be like, oh.
And it was cringe
Let me fix that right.
It's LL Cool J. It's like, what do you mean?
I think it was worth that he got LL's name wrong and added another J, but
it's like, what do you mean?
I think it was worth that he got LL's name wrong and added another J, but
What's wrong with you people? And you got a hell of a new governor in Westmore, I tell you. He's the real deal, and the boy looks like he can still play. He got some guns on him.
Damn.
He's the real deal, and the boy looks like he can still play. He got some guns on him.
They can't even sell racism without black and brown people helping them, and that's part of the problem.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
It's also known that Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend. He was a mentor, and he was a guy.
1986, bragged about getting an award from George Wallace.
Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people.
Clear as crystal.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, ring that notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. Also, please share this video so the truth can reach more people and open more eyes to what's really going on. Ultimately, that'll help free people from the chin boogie and the lies that they've been conditioned to believe, that they've been digesting and been fed over and over again, that we know isn't the truth. And
Yes, well, it was a week packed with celebrities, and who better to take us to the Grammys than our very own Rita Panahi?
Oh, hello. Oh, well, let's start with the host, Trevor Noah, who thought he was very clever with this joke.
That is a Grammy that every artist wants, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton, so...
Yes, he thought that was clever until Donald Trump said, I'm suing you because I've never been to Epstein's Island, and even the fake news media has never suggested I've been to Epstein's Island. And Donald Trump has been very successful in suing media outlets for false reporting, tens of millions of dollars in payouts in the last couple of years. So, Trevor might be a little bit nervous right now.
It's interesting, isn't it, how Trump just goes straight after them, straight away. He watches all this stuff and he goes back. And he's right to do so, because for years he's just sat back as they've attacked him relentlessly. But, suggesting that he was going on Epstein's Island at this moment, what a stupid thing to say.
And, I mean, at this point, it seems like he's almost the only celebrity who didn't have anything to do with it. When you start to look at some of these emails that come out with some very big names that were in very close contact with a lot of interesting things.
And Epstein's good friend and a fellow TDS sufferer, Michael Wolff, has said in an interview that Epstein suspected that Donald Trump was the one who alerted authorities about his suspected behaviour, and that's why he hated him so much and was so dead set in getting him, and all of those emails reveal plots to try to get Trump, and he didn't succeed.
Now, who else at the Grammys, Rita?
Oh, there's so many, but probably the biggest virtue signalling moment that just highlighted the idiocy of the celebrity class came from Billie Eilish.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
You're right, Salty.
And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now.
Yeah, you know what? Best,
I think so.
best to say nothing, because how do you say nobody is illegal on stolen land? Either you believe in borders or you don't. So you can't say you're for free borders, anyone can go anywhere, but it's stolen
Texas,
land.
right.
So
That shit crazy.
pick a lane, Billy, if you're going to make an argument.
Well, this is a really funny thing
It is so
about
contradictory. And you know what?
Like,
the traditional owners, or
crazy.
she would call them traditional owners of the greater California basin have come out and said she's never consulted with them.
It is
before
Biden's fault. Kamala Harris was the borderless. Kamala Harris supposed to take care of the border. She didn't. That's why we got all this chaos going on. So we got to clean it up. Ain't the best way of cleaning it up, but they shouldn't even came in here. You guys voted for it. The Democrats did. Now we got to clean up his conservatives.
Purchased a $14 million compound on their ancestral land.
It's really because there's a group, there's a law firm and a sort of repossessions agency that has now said, oh, we're going to go now because you have made a statutory admission on air that your land is stolen. So we're going to go and we're going to get it back. And I just think this is so fantastic because it exposes all of the hypocrisy of all of this idea that, Australia is stolen land, America is stolen land.
Look, folks, before we go too far, I've got something to tell you.
Excuse me, but I've got something to tell you first. Thank you for ruining my life.
Ashley!
Damn.
You do.
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
Will Mac, thank you for subscribing. Thank you.
Which had to do with election fraud, which we...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Let's grow together and learn together. Thank you, guys.
know is happening.
Professor Nez.
In a billion years you could ever convince me that 2020 was on the up and up. Even tons of Democrats agree. There's no way the vegetable in chief got 15 to 18 million more votes than the Black Messiah, Barack Obama. At the end of the video, there was a clip. It was all about Lion King and different political figures. Even AOC and Newscomb and Pritzker were adorned. Their face was on animals. And now the Democrats are making a huge deal about Michelle and Obama being
critical. Thanks for joining in. He said silverbacks, right?
Gorillas. And so when you salivate like vultures because you have no accomplishments, you have nothing to say, you have nothing to do, you haven't done anything.
They had Joe Biden eating the banana.
You glom onto. It's true.
They had Joe Biden eating the banana in this video as well. Nobody ain't outraged for that. And they had Hakeem Jeffrey as a mealcat or meal rat or something like that. So it's just funny.
Trending all over, blowing up the internet. Everybody and their mother on that side is talking about it, especially these ridiculous actors like Billy Baldwin. Who the hell cares about Billy Baldwin? And Chris Cuomo is coming out of his little, fake red pill era now. And he said, this is terrible. Stephen A. Smith, this is the most racist thing ever. But,
Benji Joe, it was hilarious.
When you guys did the same to President Trump, comparing him to an orangutan or this.
So, and if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. Coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for it.
Nobody talked about this. Michelle Obama saying that on a public broadcast saying in front of the whole.
That's crazy. Thank you. Subscribe. Thank you.
World, she's not going to buy anything, any clothing made by and designed by white people. And nobody, no phony outrage. This, ladies and gentlemen, is real racism.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobe.
Imagine if Melania would have said, I'm not going to buy any more black-owned labels or designer clothes. Could you imagine
Uncle
there would be
Al.
wall-to-wall coverage on every single one of these woke networks? The hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen, knows no bounds. But wait, there's more.
I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty. And
Rocket.
they believe in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion?
No, it doesn't change my opinion because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education.
Mediocre white boys. I dare you to find me one accomplishment. Give me one accomplishment from Ghetto Crockett. This is the guy who not only said you're not black if you don't vote for me, which is to me like insane. If Trump said if you vote for me and you're white, you're not white, it would be the same, outrage all over the place. He needs to be disqualified. Check this out. Back in 1977, Biden said integrating black students would turn schools into a, quote, jungle.
So in the chat, I'll wait. Find a video, clip, text, anything that Trump said that was racist. You got to play the whole video all the way out. Because this is Biden. And Biden said it many a times. That's crazy.
A racial jungle. He said, I quote, I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle. This is the same guy the Democrats propped up, elevated, knowing that he was in cognitive decline, calling him sharp as a tack, thinking Americans are absolutely stupid. And it was only when he literally had a live stroke on live TV that they finally said, okay, enough is enough. And not because they cared about him, but because they knew, we're not going to win with this guy. So they got rid of him. They kicked him to the curb. It was an announcement on Sunday on X. It wasn't even an official press conference. It was a stinking letter that he probably had no idea. He probably woke up and he was like, what? I'm not president anymore? So don't give me your fake outrage. Don't give me your fake concern. Don't give me your, my God, this is awful. This is so racist. I can't believe it. Because we're not falling for it anymore. It might have worked before, quite frankly, before Elon bought Twitter and turned it into the only bastion of free speech. It might have worked 4, 5, 6 years ago, but not anymore. We're sick and tired of it. This amazing, strong American woman that I'm going to share with you right now has a word or two to say to Chuck the Buck Schumer, who actually had the audacity of invoking Jim Crow when it came to this SAVE Act, which is simply designates that American citizens are the only people who should be voting in American elections, denigrating people of color, minorities, by saying it's repression. Because if you institute voter ID, guess what? You're going to leave all these African Americans out to pasture because they can't have access to a voter ID, which is the biggest insult ever.
What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
See, this is where my righteous anger pop up because I know what he's saying is a lie. I live in the South. I've been living in the South my whole life on the Gulf Coast. I go to vote every single time there's an election. And guess what? I show my ID. I write my signature. They check to make sure who I am. I go vote. No problems. Nobody asking me any questions. Nobody making me count the jelly beans in the jar. And quit lumping us in the people of color category. We're Black Americans. and we are citizens, and nobody is taking away our right to vote. What they are doing is they're using Black people, going back in the past, provoking emotional manipulation, because they know if they say Jim Crow or slavery, Black people are going to be like, oh my God, he's right. They're coming against us. This has nothing to do with you, Black people. Wake up. People of color he talking about is illegal migrants. They don't have IDs. That's their new voting base. Letting these people use you. I've been having an ID since I was 15 years old. I'm 50 years old. Every Black person I know has an ID. You need an ID to drive. You need an ID to go into a club. You need an ID to fly on a plane. You need an ID to go into another country. You need an ID to buy liquor. You need an ID to buy cigarettes. I don't know any Black person without
Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you.
Black people have an ID. JJ down the street that dig in the trash can that I pass by, and he always bothering me about a little bit of money. And when I'm feeling a little giving, I give him $5. Guess what he do? He goes straight into the liquor store and go buy him some liquor. But before he do, he present his ID. So even the homeless man got an ID. Black people, y'all can keep letting these liberals play in y'all face, but Malcolm X warned y'all about these people. They're using you. This is about getting illegal migrants to vote. They don't have an ID, so they don't want any questions whenever they walk in there. They are the Democratic Party new voting base. They are the new slave.
Y'all see that soon? Everybody that's Black or brown going towards Republican, voting for Trump, or is going Republican. Bring in illegals. Bring them in. Bring them in. Y'all see it. It's right there in front of us, y'all. Come on. Subscribe.
Preach, mama, preach. That is her ID there on TikTok. Is Christ is the way. God bless you, girl. Well, check this out. Newsweek just covered Nicki Minaj fans flooding social media with posts announcing they left the Democrat Party for the Republican Party. God bless Nicki Minaj.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Right. Gotta vote, y'all. Vote.
Hello. Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that I am probably the president's #1 fan.
Treasure troves of Nicki Minaj fans have been coming out and saying, I'm done with the Democrats. My eyes have seen the light. I'm waking up. And this is the shift that I'm talking about. Nicki Minaj also pointed out that this is probably one of her most viral posts. She's been getting all these streams. She said, are y'all understand? These people have been sacrificing, you can see, as a way of gaining and maintaining power. If you ever vote Democrat again, which is a nice, affectionate moniker a lot of us have used, you're just as soulless as they are, will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story times, since I was trying to not say what I know, yet they continue to attempt bullying. Also,
Appreciate it.
I won't be releasing an album until my contract is renegotiated, until I tell you all about the sabotage this Rico is finding out about Billboard. You know, Jay-Z, who you see pictured there with Beyonce and Aaliyah, when he was, both of these girls were underage. Jay-Z is all over
Foxy
the
Brown
Epstein files. He has been incriminated, implicated, in any way indicated as somebody who has traversed and participated in that demonic person's
nasty.
Mike Tyson also says, I'm 100% with Trump, joining MAHA, the MAHA movement with Robert Kennedy Jr., trying to make America healthy again. Listen to what he says about Trump.
You have a great relationship with President Trump. You guys have known each other since the 80s. You've been at Bedminster. You're just at Mar-a-Lago. How is the president doing?
He looks beautiful, happy, functional. He's enjoying the people. I can't even explain his mood. He's just, we've never seen any president like this before. And not in your lifetime, nor in mine.
That's for sure. That's definitely for sure. When you guys used to hang out back in the day. Any funny stories you want to tell us?
Nah, he was just a businessman and he ran his business right. And that was just a great idea when he decided to have me fight in Atlantic City, because I never thought that Atlantic City would ever be. I just didn't like Atlantic City back then. I just was an Atlantic City person, and he made me an Atlantic City person. I even moved there one time. I lived there for a few years.
And you made a lot of money in Atlantic City, and he did too.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. But listen, my whole experience with President Trump is that he's just a genuine, real person. If he got your back, he's with you 100%.
Yeah, he's a loyal guy. That's
my experience with him. That's my experience with him. Yeah, that's why I'm for him 100%, because he's never been nothing before me.
You want to know why the Democrats are panicking over Nicki Minaj, Mike Tyson, and this whole movement of Trump actually getting things done and these DEI hires? Wool has finally been pulled over the eyes of the American people about this deceptive, radical, extreme version. I had a really great talk with a friend of mine who's a prominent doctor, one of the best doctors in his field.
That's what's up, Salty. That's what's up, right?
All you need is just a semblance of intelligence to see this party is completely nuts. I mean, they've gone off the deep end. They're not Democrats. They are so radical that Democrats, 10, 20 years ago are now, you would look at them and consider them MAGA. I mean, literally. And so it's just so amazing to see this, the truth, awakening, enlightenment. And I think this is one of the best videos I want to share with you. Chuck Schumer saying that, like, having IDs for officers is okay, but showing your ID to vote, like, nobody's falling for that garbage anymore. Getting upset over this meme that President Trump posted, which he probably didn't even know about. It was at the very tail end of that video. It was obviously a mistake, and he deleted it. While you have paid anti-ICE protesters yelling racial epithets at black federal agents who are simply doing their job. And when I say racial epithets, I mean
God all day. God is in control.
Hard
definitely.
That's
God is in control.
But is there any outrage? Is there any protest? Is there any wall-to-wall coverage of this on the woke media apparatus? Of course not. And I'm going to share with you this one last video.
Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for joining in.
Beautifully. Check out this woman who says what happened to her when she left the Democrats and came over to the other side. This is beautiful.
I absolutely have to respond to this comment.
How you doing, Ruth?
That's important to me to let people know what did
Joker, how you doing?
When I went over to the Republican Party. Number one, first and foremost, which was most important to me, I got the freedom to be me. I got the freedom to be Sam, to say what the Sam want to say, to feel how Sam want to feel, to like who Sam want to like, to not like who Sam want to like. That is the most important thing that I got, was my freedom. Okay? Number two, I got acceptance. They accepted that I didn't think like them on a lot of things, and that was fine for them. They didn't say shit to me about it. They had no problems with it whatsoever. None. Okay? That is more important to me than anything. What do you thought I was going to say? I got some reparations, some money, no, because it's not about that. When you have been in bondage for decades and generations, there's nothing more important in this life than your freedom. And I got the freedom to think, to feel, to talk to be around whoever the I want to, without judgment. And that, my friend, that is everything for me. Everything. Oh, you know what else I got? Acceptance. They accepted that I didn't think like them in every which way. They accepted that I didn't even look like them. They accepted that. They accepted my past. They accepted my present. They accepted everything about me. I was accepted. And not because I was a Republican, but this is the first time I felt accepted for being me. And I love it over here. Every minute of it. I love it over here.
There you have it. I couldn't say it any better myself. Welcome, and we welcome all of you. This gives me so much hope, y'all. We're going to get our country back, get our country in the right direction. We have to win the midterms. We have to end the filibuster. We have to end the 60 Senate vote cloture so we can actually pass voter ID and the rest of our America First agenda. I've said it a million times. We need balls. We need the kind of balls that we voted for. And who am I talking to? You, GOP. You guys need to get the balls of President Trump and take action, or else it's all over. Please tap that thumbs up if you love America. Share this with everybody. Even if you're watching on TV, you can do it with your remote. Tap the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here.
The Treasury Department announcing that they are all over this and they are making sure that the IRS is going to look at all the bank records, investigate the banks of all the convicted fraudsters. So you see what they're trying to do. They're trying to piece this together because, hey, Timmy Minette, you got that Rose Lake Capital, and if somebody that maybe was trapped up in this scheme with your wife, the representative from that district, where everybody was making oodles of money, well, if they can actually go through those bank records and figure out that some of that money went to you, whether it be E Street Winery or whether it be Rose Lake Capital, well, then there's going to be HELL to pay now, isn't there? Here, let's listen to Treasury Secretary Bessent on what he has initiated, ladies and gentlemen. Watch.
Civil enforcement is auditing financial institutions that facilitated the laundering of Minnesota funds, in addition to helping support criminal and civil enforcement efforts. The IRS will also soon announce the formation of a task force.
Wow. Okay, so they want bank records, they want texts, they want emails, they want wire transfers, they want nonprofit filings, they want vendor invoices, they want all of this, so that they can go back and piece together, this is what you call forensic accounting, a storyboard in which they can show how money went from these people in the fraudster circle, possibly over to Rose Lake Capital or the winery, how it was allegedly cleaned and then brought back out. Don't underestimate Treasury Secretary Bessent. This is the guy who basically brought down the Bank of England. He broke the Bank of England, okay? He's really smart. And he's very motivated, as he should be, because you know what? Typically, when you have these kinds of things happening and money being transferred via the Hawala network and the Middle Eastern community going back over to Dubai and other places, it's expected that the terror organization Al-Shabaab, which is affiliated with the Somali community, would be taking their percentage off the top. So the Treasury Department has various reasons to be investigating this, including fears of possible suspected terrorist financing. I'm not saying that she was deliberately sending money or that anybody from that community was deliberately sending money. I'm just telling you how it's done. I've done a ton of reporting on terror financing throughout my career, and this is how it works, okay? So the way it works is that the organization takes some money off the top. It's all for the cause, so to speak. So that's another thing that Treasury has to confront with very clear eyes. So Ilhan Omar is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble, and she could go away for a long time. Not to mention be deported. Deportation very much on the agenda in both the Senate and the House. We have Marsha Blackburn, the senator from Tennessee, talking about the need to really consider deportation and denaturalization of any and all fraudsters. Watch.
Fraud in Minnesota is probably up to $19 billion, is what we're hearing. And then Dr. Oz has uncovered all of this fraud in healthcare and hospice in California. And that is being investigated. We're getting reports. Every senator is getting reports about fraudulent activity, defrauding the state and federal government. So I have filed the Immigration and Nationality Act update. It's called the Fraud Accountability Act. It makes all fraud, regardless of whether it's against an individual, a local, state, or federal government. If you are in this country on a work visa, a green card, permanent resident, or naturalized as a citizen, this will trigger a denaturalization
Nikki, thanks for joining in, Nikki.
Thanks for joining in. And it cleans up that. It makes all fraud something that is a felony offense.
What's up, Rocket?
Boom. So all fraud would be a felony offense. And if you recently came to this country, they could actually denationalize you. So this is gaining steam. This
Subscribe.
being introduced just yesterday in the Senate. Meanwhile, if you go over to the House, you're seeing a similar bill gaining traction there. So I have a feeling one of these things is going to work out, especially in light of Nick Shirley's investigation. Wonderful investigation. I mean, hey, 60 Minutes, where are you? This kid's doing pure reds around you, right? Like figure eights, for goodness sakes. David Hoche, who's one of his associates, is also an investigative journalist, and he spoke this week with Congress explaining how this all came to him and why he thought to do this investigation. Let's watch.
Every one of these facilities is located in a commercial or industrial building. No play areas, bad neighborhoods, and several of the child care facilities had signage which stated they were open either 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., Quality Learning Center, for example, or open 24 hours. Who the heck brings their kid to stay overnight at a child care facility in a rough neighborhood? None of it made any sense. The Leering misspelling was the final straw for me. That's the spark that ignited my full-on investigation.
I spoke with a source today who said that was really sort of the tipping point for a lot of people. When they saw the leering sign, they just couldn't take it anymore. I think that'll sort of go down in history rather infamously for being the point of no return, right? Once everybody saw that, that's what really jump-started a lot of this. And so the need for bank records, emails, texts, wire transfers, nonprofit filings, vendor invoices, those bank records are going to be really critical. So again, it's critical and important that the Treasury Department do what it's doing right now. So what is the punishment for this? What is the punishment? What do you guys think went down in Georgia? What exactly happened? He's worried that there were some illegal votes. I want to get to that because he spoke up today and said we're going to find out the truth soon. But first, quick shout out for one of our great sponsors. We love Balance in Nature. They've been with us here on the show for a long time, and I take the fruits and veggies. I'll tell you, this stuff is...
They talked about Russia. It turned out to be a hoax. It was Hunter Biden. It wasn't Russia. Look, we have to have honest elections. Yeah. There should be nothing wrong with the fact that they went in, got ballots from a while ago, and they're going to look at them. And now they're going to find out the true winner of that state.
We know the true winner.
Oh, okay. It's like, oh my God. It's like you could just feel their blood pressure going up. That was an NBC interview that he did yesterday. And so he wants to know just exactly what went down. As you'll recall, Tulsi Gabbard was on the ground there as they took 700 boxes of ballots away from Fulton County, Georgia.
The director of national intelligence was on scene yesterday with no official explanation why for her exact role in the probe. Back in December, the DOJ sued Fulton County, Georgia, seeking access to 2020 voting records after state officials allegedly failed to respond to a subpoena. FBI's Atlanta field office head was forced out in recent days, but it's unclear if this is all related.
So, it might be. Right? I mean, the
all right, Salty, no problem, bro. Thank you, man. 100 peace.
Along with this, the way they needed him to, because
I'll be back
the
again.
FBI that was in there taking the 700 boxes of ballots out. Remember that this was caught? Actually, I think inadvertently, somehow a cameraman from the local Fox affiliate slipped in and was getting this footage until he was sent away. Unbelievable stuff.
Going inside of the election facility. Our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
Okay, so now...
Okay, so now agents are asking them to back up.
Actually, you shouldn't even be in this area, but hey, you know what? I don't have a key, so there you go. Okay.
The cameraman's like, don't look at me.
Okay, so agents are asking them to back up, saying our crew should not be in this area. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor. And as our photojournalist gathers more information and reporter Larry Sproul gathers more information, we're going to be able to hopefully get that information for you. Right now,
Wow. I mean, so this is just unbelievable. They've got 700 boxes of ballots. So what are they looking for? They're looking for any kind of indiscrepancies, things that might look like they were copied, etc. And again, Tulsi being involved, a lot of people are complaining about this. Well, why is Tulsi? She's the director of national intelligence. Why would she be involved in this? Usually she's on the international front. But the concern here is if there was any tampering, was this, I mean, maybe this is how they put it in her jurisdiction. I'm just hypothesizing here because I get it, right? Like it's an American thing. Why would the director of national intelligence be involved? You heard him say earlier, because look, what do you think happened with Hunter Biden and the Russia thing, etc.? I mean, come on, right? Hey, great to see you here. Cyrex Core, I think I said that right. Thanks for the generosity. We'll get to some of your comments in a moment, but let's go back to the president here. Speaking this morning at his prayer breakfast, the Thursday prayer breakfast, talking about what a good job Tulsi's doing on this.
We have our director of national and international intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's doing a great job. Where's Tulsi?
She took a lot of heat 2 days ago because she went in at Pam's insistence. She went in and she looked at votes that want to be checked out from Georgia. They say, why is she doing it? Right, Pam? Why is she doing it? Because Pam wanted her to do it. And you know why? Because she's smart. And they said, well, this has to do, her position has to do, it's really not so, but her position has to do with international. They say, well, the same people that said that, they've been saying Russia has been screwing our elections, okay? So let's assume Russia had something to do with it. They say, no, Russia didn't have. So now they're saying Russia had nothing to do with it. Because if I say Russia, that it's perfectly fine. But you could add China and about 5 other countries to it. But she's done a great job, and Pam has done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it both. Haven't seen you in a couple of days.
Well, that was a very nice compliment from one Pam Bondi. A lot of people have sort of, myself included, been a little bit frustrated with Pam Bondi as of late, but the president has clearly not lost faith. Listen, the Fulton County thing is a big thing. It's a big deal. The Democrats can't believe this happened. They just can't believe it. They're absolutely aghast. And you have a lot of the folks down there trying to suggest that, well, the FBI is going to do something with the ballots. I mean, come on, for goodness sakes. But, this is the craziness you're dealing with. Hey, Alphonse, good to see you here. He says, the Democrats and their flunkies have viciously attacked Tulsi recently. Why? She has complete integrity. I like Tulsi a lot. I really do. I think that they're afraid of her, Alphonse, for a lot of reasons, maybe because she is so competent. Don't forget, she was a Democrat who switched sides, moving right over to MAGA after what? Hillary Clinton tried to insist she was a Russian spy. I mean, that's a heck of a thing to have said about you, but this is what they say about people. You're either a racist or you're a Russian spy. Russian spy or a racist. Take your pick. With Tulsi, she was a threat, therefore they had to take her out. What did they do? I mean, she really, I followed her career for a while, and I'm like, this woman's good. Like, really good. I mean, for a Democrat, right? She's really good. And so I've been very high on her since I first sort of noticed her. I want to say back in 2016 when she was just, a regular politician from Hawaii. And she rose up through the ranks, and she actually might have had a shot at getting the Democrat nomination. So how did they take her out? Hillary made sure that you knew she might be a Russian spy. So, yeah, she's a vet, for goodness sakes. I mean, you're trying to take down a woman who has been out there putting her life on the line for the country. I don't think she appreciated that at all. And so I think she and Donald Trump are somewhat simpatico in this. They've both been accused of some pretty heinous stuff. He's an agent for the Russians. That was all false. We know that. Same thing with Tulsi. It was all false. So yeah, they want to know what's going on. And again, they're hyperventilating. My gosh, they can barely even talk in Fulton County, Georgia right now.
Hey everybody, so here's an update. We're at the elections hub right here off Fairburn Road, and they did correct the warrant, and they are now in there getting the documents. 700 boxes of 2020 ballots and accompanying things that go with it, absentee ballots, all the things, right? So our clerk of Superior Court, Shay Alexander, is in there making a log of everything that they're taking, but this is like all wrong. So we're trying to figure out a legal plan, and we should have one, whether that's an injunction, whether a motion to quash, whatever it is, we're trying to figure it out right now, because this is an attack on
the
our
first time I've seen that in the
elections,
chat. Fascism, really?
to keep you from
funny.
trying to go to the polls in November, being too afraid to change what's going on in our nation. So instead of worrying about people dying in Minnesota, here we are at the Fulton County Elections Hub. So let me go find out what the legal plan is. Hi, everybody. Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back, and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure out, getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it? So this is an attempt to take your vote away. This is all about November 2026, about the primary on May 19th and then the November election. He does not want the midterm elections to take away his power. So he's trying to create chaos. So this is what he does. Chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Fulton County.
Fraud in Minnesota. Fraud.
At all costs. I'm telling you.
That's what happened.
Everybody always says your life depends on it. Oh, your life does depend on it this time.
Okay. Can we break this down for just a second? Gosh, she's really panicking. But how is it so scary to say, gee, what happened? Gee, were there anything here that we should pay attention to? Are there indiscrepancies that we should be watching for? Don't forget, this went from a civil case actually to a criminal case, because now the FBI is concerned that there was criminal activity. We don't know, but why can't you ask the question? If you guys have nothing to hide, then so be it, okay? Don't worry about it. You got nothing to hide. You don't need to freak out. But if you do have something to hide, well, okay, I get it. So this is the concern. So there's a video circulating on X that allegedly is someone walking through some of these ballots in Georgia, and they're explaining that some of them were sort of, I guess, copied and dropped in the, and granted, this would not have changed the election outcome, and that's why judges previously would never allow for any of this evidence to be examined. But now, given that we're not trying to change the outcome of the election here, we're just trying to say, hey, what went down? And this has become, in fact, a criminal case.
How you doing, Eric? Thanks for joining in.
Stuff like this.
And if you think that maybe that's, if you think that maybe that's just a mistake or
Biden was better than these trolls every day. Oh wow, Carl, really?
You can see Republican.
I don't know how.
Is written there. Republicans written there.
That's why we got all these ICE agents out there, because Biden opened the gates.
Ballot number 2, and then each one of them even has this little dot in the face.
Yeah, because the borders closed when we have these issues.
Okay, and do you have more of those?
We have the entire batch. There's 62 images in here total, and I didn't even get a chance to
subscribe.
But these are the most obvious ones where it's clear that it's the same.
Wow.
This one's got the little tail on the side.
Wild.
So what happened? So do you know the numbers of these total batches?
I don't remember what the totals were when the batches. I don't think they weren't disparate. They were fairly close. But the simple fact that they
so
occurred.
You see that little
stuff. What are you talking about?
One image.
You said my groceries, my electric bill.
Another image.
Isn't less. You know who I am?
Same.
You know where I live at?
Number?
Was
Also,
it 5162?
scanner 5162.
Tell me what I'm doing.
Okay, scanner.
Batch number 235. Image number 92.
Subscribe.
Matches the same scanner 5162. Batch 234. Image 33.
So there you have it. Duplicate ballots. The entire batch.
So that's what
scanned
they're trying to figure out. Are there duplicate ballots there? And if you take this forward a little bit more, people have also alleged that maybe there were some illegal votes cast, and that's what they're trying to get to the bottom of. It's going to be a very, very bad weekend in the Ilhan Omar Timmy Minette household, ladies and gentlemen, because Congress has just demanded all the...
Right here in this moment, I shall sign an executive order that will uphold our city's protection not just of our fellow immigrant New Yorkers, but of all New Yorkers from abusive immigration enforcement.
I'm not affected by it, Miss Stuffmore. I live in Illinois. I'm good. I ain't not living in Rockford. I don't know what's going on your part.
This order is a sweeping reaffirmation of our commitment to our immigrant neighbors and to public safety as a whole. We will make it clear once again that ICE will not be able to enter New York City property without a judicial warrant.
He retarded.
So he has decided
That makes
that
no
he
sense.
is going to rewrite immigration law across the entire country.
Duh.
What he just said is completely illegal. Don't take my word for it. The Constitution says it. He just says in order for you to come on New York property, you need a warrant from a judge.
What? You're not good.
In order for you to enforce immigration rules and laws, you're going to have to get a judge saying it's okay for you
What
to
is he
come into
talking
New York
about?
City. I can already see Tom Homan downloading a copy of this and wiping his buttocks with it. I can already see the Tom Homan talking to the chief of police and some other people.
Bud, what's up, Bud Russell? Right. I don't know what they talking
I don't know
about.
what you want us to do. He is going to put the police in New York City head to head with ICE and Border Patrol. And I want to know what the men in blue in New York are going to do. Because you can write anything on that piece of paper you want. Good luck enforcing it.
That means our schools, our shelters,
You defending the you defending them? The illegals?
New Yorkers' private data from being unlawfully accessed by the federal government and stand firmly.
What do you mean unlawfully?
Duh.
Those documents.
What's wrong with them, Barry?
Pretty much what
What's
they're
wrong
going
with
to
them?
use. You may not like it, but that's exactly what's going to happen. All these stupid judge things are getting overturned. A couple got overturned today. They have no leg to stand on. This is just to make the rabble rousers feel good. But it's completely toothless. He can't enforce what he's got these idiots cheering about.
Against any effort to intrude on our privacy. No New Yorker should be afraid to apply for city services like child care.
Are you an ICE agent or something? You meaning how ICE agents work?
This order mandates that essential city agencies are complying with city laws and directs them to conduct thorough audits of all policies guiding agency interactions with immigration authorities. And it will establish an interagency response committee so that in the event of a major crisis, we are ready and equipped to do the job of protecting New Yorkers.
See, his problem here is that he's using this broad term that the SEALs are clapping for because he's using New Yorkers, meaning anybody in New York, you're a New Yorker, even if you're not supposed to be here.
Duh.
He understands that he is turning that city, not the state, he is turning that city into a socialist enclave. This is the kind of craziness that they want to see, these people want to see in New York. It can't happen. But but it's going to get worse from what I'm going to show you. In fact, let me just show you something here. Trump victory. A U.S. appeals court has just vacated an activist judge injunction which halted President Trump's executive order gutting DEI in the federal government. Trump is now free to fire any and all DEI hires which plague the executive
Didn't earn it.
As I mentioned the other day, they can't stop him. They know these rulings are going to be overturned. They just figure they can muck up the waters and keep things slow so he can't just stay on a roll. And so they come out with great fanfare and say, oh, he's been blocked by the federal district court. The court says you can't do this and do that. It's on every news station. But they never cover these. They never cover when it's overturned. And that's part of the reasons why these people are clapping like seals and they're brainwashed because they don't know how many of these injunctions that these lower courts have put in have been overturned. They never see it. They don't see this news. This news is not publicized. They will publicize, hey, District Court Judge Boasberger says you can't do this or do that. What happens when it gets overturned?
I'm talking about DEI, dummy. Didn't earn it. Pay attention.
The story of the Hijra.
Didn't earn it. DEI. Didn't earn it. That's a due process. What are you talking about?
I'm tell some of you right now, I need to put a warning on the screen. This is going to freak you out. And, it's funny because when I was talking about the NFL, people got freaked out because I was like, it's NFL players, not the team. And people, watch it. Okay, if you got freaked out about me talking about the NFL, this going to hit you. This is going to hit you in the big time, PPs.
The Prophet Muhammad was a stranger too.
English.
Who fled Mecca and was welcomed
English.
in Medina.
Almost 2 hours in. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's continue. Thank you for subscribing.
Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world.
What?
That wasn't AI. The mayor of New York is standing at a podium and quoting a different scripture.
But Russell, thanks for breaking it down.
And telling New Yorkers, this is what you voted for. And I'm sure there might have been some people there.
How old are you talking about? How old are you? What are you talking about?
Who? I don't remember that book in the Bible. This is the turning. Now they are beginning to do what he was going to do all along. And he felt that comfortable getting up in front of a podium and start with this crap.
Or as the Prophet Muhammad
What the
hell you just said?
What the?
Oh, Barry, it's racist. No, it's not. I don't know what the hell he just said.
Thanks for joining in. Subscribe.
Thank you. Subtitles, so I know what the words are going to do. I don't know what you just said. And I'm pretty sure most of New Yorkers are like, what the hell did he just say? You voted for it, and the rest of you who didn't, welcome to Sharia law. Hope you enjoy it. But by the way, if you want to get the hell out of New York, you can email us here at support at fanfareshop.org.
Right, because the media,
and maybe you can buy a house
celebrities sending them off, gaslighting the media and the celebrities.
Began as something strange and
the uneducated.
Strange. So glad tidings to the strangers. We will create a centralized mechanism for coordinating policy across agencies so that government speaks with one voice in times of need.
What voice is that? That one voice that you're going to be talking, is it? Because I don't know. I don't know what you just said. And you just said a second ago that, the prophet Muhammad, and we don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And thank God I'm in Florida because I don't want no parts of this. Put my hand on one Bible. I talk about one Lord. And I ain't got no room for what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Does that make me a racist? Does that make me a xenophobe? Does it make me this? No, it makes me a Christian. Like the guys who founded this country, who never could have imagined that people like this would be standing on a stage advocating for people who aren't supposed to be here. Oh, he keeps going.
City Hall will not look away. But we need our faith leaders with us. Your moral clarity, your integrity, they are the pillars upon which countless movements for justice have been built. Many of you have long practiced the tradition of supporting the forgotten and the downtrodden. When our immigrant neighbors are in trouble, they often turn first to their faith networks.
So now he's trying to put a guilt trip on the rabbis and the priests and the pastors. You got to get with me here. This guy's devious. Man, he's been trained. He knows what to say and when to say it, and he knows how to use Alinsky's rules against you. Yeah, you gotta work with me here, with the downtrodden.
For counsel, for legal aid, for someone to accompany them to court.
Man.
Today,
You see
I
it,
call
right?
upon you to help us give language to courage. Help us remind New Yorkers that they are not alone. We have prepared 30,000 guides to New Yorkers' rights.
He created 30,000 pamphlets, folders, whatever, to give to people and have the churches and faith leaders distribute so that newcomers understand what they need to do to fight ICE. The mayor of the city, he has gone way beyond Jacob Fry of Minneapolis.
In 10 languages, the ones most spoken by some of the most heavily targeted populations in our city, teaching our neighbors what to do.
Subscribe, everybody. Thanks for joining in. Subscribe. Thank you.
So digest this and
This channel is Common Sense
that
channel.
a mayor in an American city
Vote for
is
common
going to be
sense.
distributing pamphlets on what to do if you break in and rob somebody so that you don't. Oh, I'm sorry. He's distributing pamphlets so that if you beat up your wife, how to get. No, I'm sorry. He's distributing pamphlets that say, if you break the law and you're not supposed to be here, you snuck in the country, how to avoid ICE. My parallels there is he's distributing, the man whose number one job is to keep people safe and protect the city is distributing pamphlets, folders, whatever, telling people how to break the law.
Amazing.
I feel like we've ventured into cuckoo land. I feel like somewhere we've been on a ride like the Orient Express or something, and we got off on a parallel universe. That a sitting mayor in America would be showing people how to get off after they've broken the law. It doesn't say, hey, you should go home if you're not from here. It doesn't say, if you cross the border illegally, here's what you need to do. It's like, hey, welcome. He broke the law. Here's how you avoid getting caught. And so my parallels are correct. Hey, you robbed the bank. Give me a call. Let me show you how you avoid getting caught. By the way, give me some of the money. Donate it.
How you gonna tell what he meant to say? What's going on?
You beat your wife.
What's going on?
Screw that hoe. I'm going to show you how you get away with it. Fill in the blank.
What he meant to say.
Any crime. You stole a car. Let me show you how you get to keep that car. I'm the mayor. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm using these examples as jokes and anecdotes, but it's absolutely appropriate. It's a crime. It is an absolute crime that he is advocating, and not just advocating, let me show you how you get away with it. Oops, wrong one.
These guides are here today, ready for you to take. If you run out, we will print more.
Make sure everybody gets one. Make sure this is like New York Monopoly money. Make sure everybody gets a.
You can't be like Oprah. Everybody gets a car. You get a car. You get a car.
Here's how we're going to beat
ICE. You can't be like Oprah.
We're going to make sure everybody has a booklet that they can quickly turn to and say, okay, here's what we do. Would you ever, depending on how old you are, would you ever have believed in your life that you would see a mayor of a city advocating and showing people how to get away with a crime?
Drew.
On stage.
Hey, Drew, thanks for joining in.
However many people.
I urge you to share these with your congregants, even those who are citizens, even those whom you think ICE may not target.
Hold on. Wait a second. Oh, yeah, I forgot that part. He wants the people who are faith leaders to do it. Think about the evil of that. They're sitting there and they don't realize he's talking to you, Mr. Rabbi, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Priest, Mr. Deacon. I want you to not think about the laws, not to think about your beliefs, but what you need to do is hand these things out to people. Show them how to break the law. I'm pretty sure that's not in the top 10. I'm sure when Moses came down, it didn't say, oh, these 10, I can't do these. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. But if you get caught doing number 2 or number 3, here's number 11. It'll show you how to get out of jail. In case you get caught stealing or murdering or coveting or, just go down the list and look at 10, there's an asterisk on the bottom from Mandami and it says, all these 10 things there, that the 10, the things.
Catholic Church illegally the right way. That's all you got to do.
Mandami's got to give you. And just hand it out to your congregation.
Either way.
Really? So I can go steal something, I can do this, but the asterisk says Mandami's going to show me how to get away with it. He's asking.
Thank you. Subscribe. Thank you.
To do the dirty work for him. He's asking faith workers to ignore the very basis of what they're supposed to be doing. Is telling people how to be good, how to obey the laws of the Lord, how to walk in faith. And this heathen is telling faith leaders, go ahead and spread these out. Not my words. He just said it. Is there any other way to look at it? Forget my jokes. I'll get serious. Is there any other way to look at what he just said? I want faith leaders to distribute these folders or whatever they are that show people how to avoid getting caught breaking the law. How could you be a pastor? How could you be a priest? It's bad enough you were diddling kids. Now you're going to just completely annihilate everything you believe? Man.
These materials apply to us all. Those who have been here for 5 generations, those who arrived last year.
2 hours in. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Subscribe, and like. Let's continue.
Mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, great-great-great-grandmother, all of you, 5 generations back, made me stop and think, wait a second. So you're telling me that my grandmother, my grandmom, my great-grandmom, all 5 generations should be facilitating these people staying here. This is evil personified.
They apply to us all because the obligation is upon us all. To love thy neighbor, to look out for the stranger.
Is that in your Bible? Love thy neighbor, help thy neighbor break the law. I didn't know that was in my Bible. I mean, it might be in yours. We got to make sure that, the people who are breaking the law, that's part of our looking out for our neighbor. Not giving them a buck at 7-Eleven so he can get a piece of bread, but instead showing him how to break the law. Take the guy in the store, let him shoplift. Don't let the guy behind the counter see. Go. Don't let him see him stealing. That's our job now. I'm going to go see the movie Melania tonight with Robin. And I remember being a 14, 15-year-old hooligan and hanging out and waiting for people to sneak in the movie theater. And you just sit there. And then once I got in, then the other trick was, the other one starts in like 20 minutes at theater 3. So let's go out the bathroom and, hang out in the bathroom for 20 minutes and then just kind of walk into the other theater. I used to do that every weekend. And one day, one of the guys at the movie theater said, you know we see what you're doing. Huh? We see you sneaking into the different movies. Do you know why we let you stay? Why? Because you eat like a horse, and you keep ordering sodas
How you doing?
and popcorn
TDC,
and
EDC.
hot dogs. You probably
Thanks for
spent
joining
more
the chat.
on the
Thanks for
food
joining
than
the
you
chat.
did for than you would have spent on the
Excuse
ticket.
me.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. And it kind of scared me straight. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm spending more money and taking more effort absconding than I was if I had just paid for the ticket. I wouldn't have to hide. I never knew that we would see a mayor of a city facilitating it.
If we are to truly champion the cause of the stranger, let these materials serve as instructions for how to stand in solidarity. If anything can turn back the rising tide of hatred, it is a chorus of those who worship differently and live differently.
Wow. So are you telling me this could overcome hatred and that you would be okay with hugging an Israeli? Are you saying that at this point, now newcomers are what's going to bring people together, and that Muslims and Jews are now one? That you guys are all together at this point? Because the main cause, it wasn't fighting for thousands of years over Gaza and different things we learned in the Bible. What it really was all about was infiltrating New York City. That's what you're saying. It doesn't, there's no more hate. Hey man, come on over, have some bacon and eggs. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, you can't eat this stuff. He actually said that. He has just reduced thousands of years of fighting over there in the Middle East into the common cause is to let as many people in this country as possible. And nobody calls him out. It's not on any news. Nobody's even talking about it.
Singing the same undaunted song. For we are all New Yorkers, and yet that has not always been accepted.
I don't even know what to say. I can't even imagine if they're this close when he's been in office a month and he's already getting on stage and going, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what he was saying. And now he's saying you need to come together with the Jews and the Gentiles because our main cause at this point is not our religious differences. It's we all have to bring as many newcomers in here as possible. Ooh, that ain't going to work well. That ain't going to work well. Actually matters. The fake news, that doesn't matter. And I'm going to give you my perspective on that. And I'm
Only,
going to tell you,
what's up?
With no
Good
uncertain
evening,
terms, the huge mistake that President Trump made. But it's not what you think. It's not what you think. So don't get pissed off at Barry and become a panican. No. Barry's firmly in the Trump camp. But he did make a big mistake today. And I don't want to start off with the fake news. I want to get into the real news. I want to get into something, I told you guys many times that I promoted and worked with Charlie Daniels for quite some time. And before Charlie died, he made it a point, and he kept saying it over and over and over. Benghazi ain't going away. And even after he died, his son took up the mantle and said, Benghazi ain't going away. And he kept posting literally every day after Charlie Daniels died, because Charlie did it every single day on his own. And here we are in 2026. Finally, we have the entire Benghazi thing being addressed, and the Democrats don't want to talk about it. The Democrats don't even want to mention it. I've looked around. You guys can tell. Matter of fact, I don't think Fox talks about it too much. Now, I want you to listen to this, and many of you guys understand where this comes from, and if you may have forgotten about it, but I want you to hear this.
How certain the people were that the attack started at 9:40 Benghazi time. When was the first time you spoke to, or have you ever spoken to the returnees, the evacuees? Did you personally speak to those folks?
Good one. Like and subscribe for more reading. Good one.
One of them, but I waited until after the ARB had done its investigation because I did not want there to be anybody raising any issue that I had spoken to anyone before the ARB conducted its investigation.
How many people were evacuated from Libya?
Well,
Trump.
The numbers
okay, that's
are
cool. F.
a
Trump.
little bit
No
hard
problem.
to pin
Thanks
down
for joining the
because of
chat.
our other friends, approximately
Thanks for joining the chat.
25 to 30.
Did anybody in the State Department talk to those folks very shortly afterwards?
There was discussion going on afterwards, but once the investigation started, the FBI spoke to them before we spoke to them. And so other than our people in Tripoli, which I think you're talking about Washington, right?
Yeah, the point I'm making is a very simple phone call to these individuals. I think would have ascertained immediately that there was no protest prior to this. I mean, this attack started at 9:40 p.m. Benghazi time, and it was an assault. And I appreciate the fact that you called it an assault. But I mean, I'm going back to
Beta.
Ambassador Rice 5 days later going to the Sunday shows and what I would say purposefully misleading the American public.
Well,
why wasn't that known? And again, I appreciate the fact of the transparency of this hearing, but why weren't we transparent at that point in time?
Well, first of all, Senator, I would say that once the assault happened and once we got our people rescued and out, our most immediate concern was, number one, taking care of their injuries. As I said, I still have a DS agent at Walter Reed seriously injured. Getting them into Frankfurt, Ramstein to get taken care of. The FBI going over immediately to start talking to them. We did not think it was appropriate for us to talk to them before the FBI conducted their interviews. So, and we did not, I think this is accurate, sir. I certainly did not know of any reports that contradicted the IC talking points at the time that Ambassador Rice went on the TV shows. And, you know, I just want to say that our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator. Now, honestly, I will do my best to answer your questions about this. But the fact is that people were trying in real time to get to the best information. The IC has a process, I understand, going with the other committees to explain how these talking points came out. But, you know, to be clear, it is, from my perspective, less important today, looking backwards, as to why these militants decided they did it, than to find them and bring them to justice. And then maybe we'll figure out what was going on in the meantime.
Maybe we should find these people who were actually responsible and find out then what exactly was going on. Because what difference does it make right now? They're dead. Yeah, that was infamously posted everywhere back in 2012. And she was pleading for people to find out what actually happened. We all wanted to know what the hell happened. A movie was made. The movie gave more information than the Secretary of State gave. And here we are, 14 years later. 14. And it's only because of President Trump that we are now going to have somebody held accountable, and we're probably going to find out some more information if we haven't already. I know a lot of you guys sometimes, well, not a lot of you, but a lot of people call me conspiratorial, but I just try to look at things in the frame of timing, breadcrumbs. And we know that Hillary Clinton is going to be testifying in front of Congress on February 26th or 25th, one of those 2 days, maybe 27th. Do you find it to be a coincidence right before she gets to go in front of Congress and raise her right hand, they now go ahead and capture this guy who supposedly was involved in planning it and bring him back here to America right before she gets to testify.
Subscribe, everybody. Subscribe.
I'm guaranteeing you this is probably the biggest news in Washington that nobody's talking about in public.
Uh-oh.
I guarantee you this is the biggest story that the people behind closed doors are freaking out about, but let's pretend it didn't happen. If you watch all the things that are happening, you can clearly see that the Trump administration has the Democrats in a box, and they can't get out of it. And they're looking for any particular way to get out of this box and divert people's attention. And then President Trump and whoever posted that thing today allowed them a little bit of a distraction. Hey, don't look over here. Look at the monkeys. I'm sorry. I'll talk about that in a while. But we have a huge arrest in which soldiers were killed. 14 years later, we finally have the right. Pam Bondi's not doing anything. Kash Patel's not doing anything. You can tell those people, stick it. The people, and you know what's weird? The people who say Pam Bondi and Kash Patel aren't doing anything are the same people who quickly today started backtracking because of an ape meme. They're not in it to win it. Again, I'll talk about that when we get through this. But now we've got a terrorist in lockdown. Maybe he can sit next to Maduro, another one in lockdown. And you have to imagine what kind of information they've been getting from these people. What kind of information? This investigation, I think Dan Bongino said, because they actually mentioned Dan Bongino at the press conference, which again, couldn't be by accident. This investigation, they didn't get a call yesterday. Hey, yeah, Abadabu wants to come and testify. Yeah, he's hanging out here, come arrest him. No. This had to have been going on for quite some time. Nobody knew. Nobody talked about it. There were no leaks. And now this guy, at what you'll hear, Kash Patel, I think it was like 3:30 in the morning. They met him at the airport and took him into custody. From where? Let them say where they got it from. You find this to be coincidental? You are not that naive to think this is just coincidence that she's testifying and now they're bringing in somebody who has an intimate knowledge of what was going on when that attack took place. Again, you were born, but you weren't born yesterday. You weren't born last night. So we're going to listen to the press conference, and I've got some moments in here that I want to react. And if you haven't seen it, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Judge Jeanine held a press conference talking about this arrest of this terrorist who was part of the Benghazi attack. And no, it wasn't a protest. Remember when they did that? Let me refresh your mind in case you don't remember. They said that this entire thing was because some guy made a video making fun of, the prophet. And they ran with that. They went out and went on every television station. Hey, no, it wasn't an attack. It was somebody who was mad because somebody made a funny video about, bombing. It had nothing to do with that. And by the way, speaking of Muhammad, I got to show you some stuff from New York as well. So we got some news. I'm going to go into the interview in a second. Also want to let you know, Robin and I, not that you care, Robin and I are going to go see the Melania movie tonight after the show. So I'll have a review for you of sorts tomorrow. But with that being said, let's get into the press conference that Pam Bondi, Judge Jeanine, I still call her Judge Jeanine. I guess we should call her U.S. Attorney Judge Jeanine, but she's still going to be Judge Jeanine, and Kash Patel.
2012, Americans watched horrified as our embassy in Benghazi came under a vicious terror attack. We lost 4 American lives that day. Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith with the State Department, and 2 CIA contractors, Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods. We have never forgotten those heroes. And we have never stopped seeking justice for that crime against our nation. In fact, from day one, Cash and Dan would sit in meetings and say, we're going to get them. And
you find that interesting? There was a reason why she mentioned Dan Bongino, who's no longer a part of the FBI. He's back doing his show. And he's getting trashed. People are trying to do everything they can to be over the top with the trolling. And she just gave him a nod from the podium about this arrest. So obviously, Dan did know some stuff, and Dan was indeed working on some stuff. And things were coming to fruition, but people don't want to wait.
Did. Today, I'm proud to announce that the FBI has arrested one of the key participants behind the Benghazi attack. Zubair al-Bakosh landed at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 a.m. this morning. He is in our custody. He was greeted by Director Patel and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. Hillary Clinton famously once said about Benghazi, what difference at this point does it make? Well, it makes a difference to Donald Trump. It makes a difference to those families. And 14 years later, it makes a difference to law enforcement who made the difference in this case. Thank you, President Trump, for supporting all of our agencies around the country and around the world. Al-Bakosh will now face American justice on American soil.
Dallas Joey, thanks for joining in.
Terrorist to the fullest extent
God's my
of
father.
the law. He'll face charges related to murder,
thanks for joining the chat.
arson,
Subscribe.
among others. Let this case serve as a reminder. If you commit a crime against the American people anywhere in this world, President Trump's Justice Department will find you.
How you doing, Tree?
It might not
Thanks for
happen
joining in.
overnight,
Yeah, Trump number
but it
one.
will happen. You can run, but you cannot hide.
Best president.
We are immensely grateful to our partners, especially at the State Department and the CIA, who lost lives in the Benghazi attack. Director Patel and the FBI agents did tireless work to track and arrest this man. I want to thank everyone standing behind me, all the agents who work so great with our lawyers, with our national security lawyers, and around the world to bring this terrorist to justice. And I have a statement to read from Director Radcliffe. He wanted to be here. He couldn't be here. He's busy protecting our world.
Radcliffe, obviously, in case you guys don't know, is the director of the CIA. So John Radcliffe is still staying in the background, but she has a statement from the director of the CIA.
Deeply grateful for the relentless efforts of the Department of Justice and the FBI to bring justice to the individual allegedly responsible for the death of Americans in the horrific 2012 Benghazi attack. CIA and the nation will never forget the extraordinary services and sacrifices of Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty.
Dr. Gregory, thanks for joining the chat. Good evening.
And exemplified the very best of our agency. I'd now like to turn it over to Director Patel for remarks. And I again want to thank him for his relentless work in this case.
Now, before Cash talks, does anybody find it even like a little bit odd that a major arrest like this, a terrorist arrest from a case that nobody wanted to touch from 14 years ago, they do the press conference, people are cutting it snippets, but yet when you turn on the TV, it's 24/7 Savannah Guthrie's mom, and the other 24 or 12/7 is Savannah Guthrie's mom, and the other 12 hours a day, it's going to be about the ape video.
Yep, bullshit.
Why is this not taking front and center news? Why is the fact that we captured in one way or another a really, really bad guy who was responsible for killing 4 people, maybe more, depending on
Glenn
what else.
Russell, you on it, man. You be on it.
And crickets. Is it because Hillary Clinton is attached to this? Is it because the same person in the ape meme is attached to this? I say yes. I say Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are so tied to this that they can't let people hear it. You have to spread it.
General, thank you. And I want to steal one of your lines. Never forget. Pam never forgot. The president never forgot.
Right. Thanks for joining the chat.
Never forgot. And certainly U.S. Attorney Pirro never forgot. When an act of terrorism of this magnitude strikes at the heart of our nation, we go to work. President Trump has given us the full resources at the FBI and across the interagency to make sure we deliver justice. And Pam, you're right. Dan and I did sit down early on about this to bring.
That can't be by accident. That can't be by accident that 2 of the 3 have just acknowledged Dan Bongino. That must be important. I don't know what yet. I have some ideas that I'm fermenting, but
Trump supporter here. Thank you.
Dan was involved in some way with this happening.
Justice, but you led the effort. You brought together the interagency. You said we are going to get this done because no one.
Thank you.
One agency alone can do it. So we are thankful to have an Attorney General at the Department of Justice who works together with every single cabinet secretary and enforce the law. What you saw today, and I want to get, or what you're going to see today, I want to address it in a minute, but I want to remind the folks out there the work of this Department of Justice. We were here just a few short months ago talking about how we were going to raise the RFJ for another violent offender on the run, Ryan Wedding. And what do we do under Attorney General's leadership?
He shouldn't have been a director.
President Trump said, go get the worst of the worst.
Now, this is very important.
They should have had Don
I know some
Bongino.
of you guys don't like me cutting in. I need you to focus on what he's about to say here because it goes to the heart of these idiot black pillars and panicans out there.
Captured him. We captured together, under President Trump's leadership, 6 of the FBI's most wanted fugitives in 1 calendar year. To put that in perspective, that is 2 more than the entirety of the prior administration.
All right. Okay, I know they speak fast. Maybe you're not watching full attention. This is why I break this stuff down. They have captured 6 of the 10 most wanted fugitives on the FBI, 10 most wanted list in 1 year. In 1 year. During the Biden administration, for the entire 4 years, they caught 2. That is doing something. That is something happening. That is making a difference in helping to keep Americans safe. I don't know what these people are saying when they talk about how Trump's not doing anything and Pam's not doing. 6 out of the top 10. That's a 60%. You go in the Hall of Fame in baseball if you hit 300, which is 3 out of 10. What do the panicans and black pillars want? Why do they post all day, all night, 100 times a day?
Right, just to flood the bullshit.
What do you want?
Flood with bullshit.
What exactly are you looking for out of these people? Nothing. It's all a scam.
And you cannot do that alone at the FBI. You have to have an Attorney General and a Department of Justice willing to prosecute, willing to go to the 4 corners of the earth and make sure we deliver justice. And that's what we're doing here today. I was at the airfield with U.S. Attorney Pirro earlier this morning when we did the formal foreign transfer of custody of Bakush into U.S. custody to face prosecution under her auspices and her office. And the Department of Justice are going to execute justice for the fallen. As a young prosecutor at CTS, the National Security Division, I worked on the Benghazi case. This was very near, dear, and personal to me. We lost 4 brave Americans in Chris, Sean, Kyle, and Steve. And we can never, ever, ever forget them. Ever. And we will not. In order to put something like this together, it doesn't happen overnight. The FBI's hostage rescue team, the FBI's critical incident response group, our Special Flight Operations Unit, and countless others, along with the agents in the New York field office who never forgot Benghazi and never let the world forget it, endured over a decade to bring yet another terrorist who killed 4 Americans to justice. That is a relentless pursuit of mission that can only happen.
How you doing? Thanks for joining in.
An interagency who's willing to get after it. I'm extremely thankful to the CIA and Director Ratcliffe and our other law enforcement partners for making sure that the world knows that if you kill an American citizen in an act of terrorism, we will hunt you down. We will bring you justice.
Thank you.
And you will face justice here in America, not in another court and not in any other proceeding around the world, but here. You killed our own, so we are going to take it to the streets to make sure you are held accountable.
They ain't playing around.
Really
they ain't playing around.
The entirety of the FBI, headquarters divisions, there are so many moving pieces to actually execute a foreign transfer of custody. And now we're talking about the 7th, the 3rd in just a couple of weeks. And I don't know if that has ever happened before in U.S. history. It's happening because President Trump backs the blue. President Trump has given law enforcement the resources we need to take the fight across the world. And the Attorney General has been relentless in her mission to make sure that these victims are remembered and that we bring them some semblance of peace by bringing those who killed their loved ones to justice.
You know, when you're watching this, and why I wanted you guys to hear Cash talk, I want you again to go with a contrast. And that contrast being, remember Merrick Garland and remember
How you doing, Donna?
Christopher Wray.
Thanks for joining the chat. Name is Deontay. Thanks for joining the chat.
A speech where they were this passionate about bringing in the bad guy. I can think of one time when they were this passionate. And it was when they went after Donald Trump. I never heard them speak so strongly about a bringing in a bad guy, a terrorist, or this person, as they did with Donald Trump. Now, I understand they took all kinds of credit for other things, but this was a whole of bureau approach. And everything else they were dusting off. But when it got to Trump, they did everything. They brought in Mueller. They did everything they possibly could, but they didn't have this kind of focus on people who were killing Americans.
It's a little full circle for me. Yes, then Director Deputy Bongino and I did sit down and said, how are we going to get this guy? How are we going to find the individual responsible for the Benghazi attacks? And we sat down with Jeanine Pirro, and we sat down with the AG and her team and the Deputy Attorney General. And every single day, every single week, we talked about how we would do it. And we're here today because we have an interagency that is led by superior individuals who have one shared goal: protecting America and our lives and our future. And to any others out there who wish to do harm, especially commit acts of terrorism here and around the world, this is the feat you will meet. You will not be forgotten by us. We will chase you down. And it is a privilege and an honor to be the director of the FBI and come full circle for me, especially on this Benghazi case, especially with the families I know so well. And for me to you, the families, I just want to personally say, I continue to pray for you. I hope that we can give you a little bit of peace in the utmost difficult of times when you've lost loved ones. And I just want to thank President Trump for delivering that peace and that modicum of justice. Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Director. And it's now my honor to introduce the woman who will be prosecuting this alleged terrorist, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
I hate that they have to say alleged. I just wish they'd come out and say, she'll be prosecuting this scumbag. But you have to have proper legal decorum, I understand, but he's a scumbag.
Thank you, Attorney General. 14 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a scene unfolded in a foreign land, in one of the most dangerous places in the world for Americans, Benghazi, Libya. An American ambassador, elite military personnel, and a State Department employee were all violently murdered. For 13 hours, the American cavalry never came. For 13 hours, they waited for help that never came. Today, President Trump is making sure that American justice is coming for those individuals responsible for the deaths of those 4 Americans. Bakush is now on U.S. soil because of the President, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel. The FBI, the Department of Justice, never forgot. There are prosecutors in this room right now who have been in the office for 13 years and have consistently handled this matter in this case. This department will never forget the seemingly forgotten in that outpost in Benghazi.
Right, that's what I voted for. We voted for. They're doing their job.
In
Yep.
2015, which was sealed for 11 years. An 8-count indictment, has been unsealed, and it charges Bakush with the murder of Ambassador Chris Stevens, the murder of State Department employee Sean Smith, the attempted murder of State Department Special Agent Scott Wickland, and conspiracy to provide materials.
Did you catch that? I want to make sure you caught that. Because when Pam was talking, I was waiting for her as she was talking about the charges, and she didn't say the word I was looking for. Judge Janine just said the word I was looking for. She just said conspiracy, which means he wasn't a lone wolf. He just didn't do something on his own.
Wow.
There were others involved. Others. I want you to hear that again, and I won't stop it so she can actually outline the charges, and so you can understand. She said conspiracy. Here, let's listen to that again.
The murder of State Department employee Sean Smith, the attempted murder of State Department Special Agent Scott Wickland, and conspiracy to provide materials for terrorists and support that resulted in the death of 4 Americans.
All right. So the conspiracy was some people conspired to support this guy.
Subscribe, everybody. Thanks for joining the chat. Subscribe. Thank you.
Now wonder who the conspirators are. They haven't arrested those yet.
Right.
But there are conspirators. You can't have a one-person
Thanks for joining the chat. Subscribe, and like. Thank you.
That you've been talking to, working with, coordinating with. There are other people who helped you conspire to do the do. Now, that's where it gets really interesting if you read between the lines here. We now know he's been charged with conspiracy, which means they have some idea that he conspired with somebody.
Rock and maybe on, brother.
One of those people is coming to Congress to testify in the next couple of weeks.
As well as arson at the special mission. I don't have to go through all of the facts.